Hello and welcome back to Read Becca. Doing a very speedy tag because I'm so behind on tags. This is going to be the It's All Relative book tag. This was originally created by AJ Dunn, Reads and Writes, and I was tagged by Berna's Bookish Adventure in one of Berna's Triple Tag Tuesdays, so I will link both of their videos down below so you can check them out, and let's jump into the prompts. So prompt number 1 is Mammamia. I recommend a book with a mother character that is pivotal to the story, and I've got one of my favorites from last year, Sorrowland by River Solomon. I'm sure this will continue coming up because I want to foist it on everybody. This definitely has motherhood as a major theme. Our main character, Vern, is fleeing a cult, and she's only 15, so a child herself, but she's about to give birth to twins in the forest. And she originally kind of keeps them separate and isolated in this forest, and then realizes that may not be the best thing to do. So it's very much about the struggle of motherhood and trying to do the right thing as a mother, for sure. So love, love, love that one. Number 2, Papa Don't Preach, a book with a father character you like or despise. So I had to select, timely selection, A Mouse by Art Spiegelman. And this one, I think most people think of it as just purely a historical story, and it is a graphic memoir, graphic history. But there are sections of this where Art is actually interviewing his father about his experiences going through persecution as a Jew during the war and concentration camps. And so during those sections, we're actually getting this very dynamic relationship between Art and his father, and seeing that his father really fits into both of those like and despise categories because they have a really strained relationship. And a lot of it is to do with the trauma that his father has been through, and his father's developed these behavioral quirks that Art just can't stand and doesn't get along with. And he can't understand why his father is the way he is. And so going through this, he kind of gains a better understanding. So really had to mention this one, and everyone who hasn't picked this up yet should, for sure. Number 3, Brothers and Sisters, a book with an interesting sibling relationship. So yet another favorite from last year, All My Puny Sorrows by Miriam Taves. This one has a sister relationship, so we follow 2 sisters here, but really we're in one's perspective. And the sister whose perspective we are not in is suicidal and deeply depressed. And so there was this conversation between the 2 of them of trying to let go, and if death is actually the humane option for her because she has been so deeply mentally ill. Meanwhile, our perspective character has been placing her life on hold a lot in order to take care of her sister, and so she's grappling with the decision that her sister is kind of begging her to let go, and it just contains a lot of philosophical discussions. This one also has a great mother bond as well, so great women familial relationships in this one. Next, we have number 4, It's Been 84 Years, a book you like that is multi-generational or chronicles a character's whole life. So I couldn't think of generational sagas because I don't really like them, but I have one that kind of fits that. So I have got The Bricks That Built the Houses by Kay Tempest. And apologies for the glare. This is a fantastic book. If you have not checked out any of Kay Tempest's poetry or this novel, I think this is their only novel. This one is set in contemporary Britain, and it follows a group of young adult characters, not like teenagers, like 20-somethings. And they are all kind of working class and have had hard upbringings and are kind of involved in not great stuff in some cases, or having to do things to get by that aren't amazing. And we follow as far as 3 generations back in this, sorry, cinnamon shaking off. We follow as far as 3 generations back in order to get this story of how they came to be where they're at. And their grandparents and parents struggling to get by to make this life for them. So we do get that backstory. So I think this maybe counts as a multi-generational saga, but this is fabulous, and it's beautifully written. If you've never read anything by Kate Tempest, they are a wonderful poet, spoken word, and rap artist. So definitely this one's underread. Okay, back to the prompts. We have number 5, You Complete Me, a book with an interesting marriage as a central element to the story. So we have a very interesting marriage, Senlin Ascends by Josiah Bancroft. This one has an interesting marriage because the couple, Senlin and Maria, are married and head off on their honeymoon to the Tower of Babel and immediately are separated. And the 4-book series involves them being separated for a very long time. So we see their backstory as well, how they came to be together, and kind of why they're a very odd coupling, I would say. So yeah, I think this is a really wonderful and fantastical story that's a little bit fantasy, a little bit steampunk, a little bit literary. It's got a lot to say, but the couple at the heart of this are very unique. Number 6, Picture It Sicily, a book with an interesting elder character, a grandparent, great-grandparent, etc. And this one is kind of a mentor. So I have A Hatful of Sky, but really this would be any of the Tiffany Aching books from Terry Pratchett's Discworld series. You can see we've got Granny Weatherwax, and Nanny Ogg as well is a wonderful elder character. So these are witch stories, but really in these books, witchcraft is not so magical. It's more about caring for others in your community. The witches kind of take care of the jobs that nobody else wants to do, and they're just there for the unwanted. So yeah, love that series. 7, Friends with Benefits, a book with a found family or friends as family element. I think I've used this one for the same type of question before, but I love this one. Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow. And Morgan Crow is a child who was kind of unwanted. She was a cursed child. And then Jupiter North shows up and lets her know she's wanted, and she goes off to this magical land of Nevermore to try out to join a secret society, and doesn't really understand why she fits, but everybody treats her with respect and cares about her after a lifelong of being treated as very less than and discarded even by her own blood. So really love this one. It's so magical. I Think We're Alone Now, a book with a character who was lost, left behind, or abandoned. Can also be a story with an orphaned or adopted character. So we've got a great one for this, one of my favorites, The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. And this follows a child named Bod, for nobody, who his parents are both killed in the first scene, and he wanders into a graveyard as an infant and is raised by the ghosts in the graveyard. It's a wonderful retelling of the Jungle Book. So if you are familiar with that tale, you'll really enjoy this one, I think. And it's just quirky and sweet and strange because obviously you have ghosts in the graveyard raising this little boy, and they come to love him and have so much affection for him. And he kind of gains a normal life almost. But yeah, this one is so great and feel good. The last one is Furbaby, number 9, a book where a pet or animal is a part of the family and or plays an important part in the book. So for this one I have The Guest Cat by Takashi Hirade, and this one follows a couple who have no children. They live alone, and they come to have this great affection for a neighborhood, potentially stray cat, who does turn out to be a neighbor's cat. But they make room in their lives for this cat, and this is just very slice of life about the visits from this cat and them going over the top with their accommodations for the cat, and just falling in love with this cat and eventually losing the cat in their life and how their grieving process works. So yeah, it's a really touching story about the place this cat who wasn't really their cat, but in many ways was their family. Yeah, how this cat touches their lives. So yeah, love that one. So that is all of the prompts. I don't think I have anybody else to tag. I think most people have done this, but I will say, if you have not done this, I'm going to tag Kristen LSFF Reader and BookTube with Amy. So that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching.